Okay, I have 10 o'clock, so I'd like to start and begin with saying good morning to everybody, our attendees, as well as our presenters, Chris and Gloria. I'm Jerry Hafer with the AMAC Foundation, and with me is Eileen Cook. Eileen Cook is, I would say, my right arm um, in terms of foundation operations. She kind of keeps me straight, and that's a good thing. But for those of you that may not be aware of AMAC, let me just explain momentarily who that is. AMAC is the Association of Mature American Citizens. That's what the acronym stands for. And AMAC is basically the fastest growing, I would say largest and fastest growing conservative organization in the country that represents seniors in Washington. We have been active in Washington. AMAC has been active in Washington since 2007, since its formation in 2007, and has grown rapidly since then. And we currently have about 2.5 million members, more or less, and continuing to add membership as we progress. And we are very active in terms of lobbying on behalf of seniors, making sure that senior interests are represented correctly in Washington, and that concerns of seniors are brought to the attention of lawmakers in Washington. That's AMAC's primary mission. It's a membership organization structured like other membership organizations with benefits, and it is a membership organization that you actually join to take advantage of the benefits and to participate in the activities of AMAC. The AMAC Foundation, on the other hand, is a separate, affiliated but separate organization. We are a 501c3 public benefit corporation, a charity in effect, and our mission is very simple. It is to support and educate America's seniors. That's really all that we do as a foundation. We're a relatively small foundation. We've been in existence since 2014, but since that time, 7 years ago, we have grown tremendously in terms of our reach. We're a national organization, but we're based here in Lady Lake, Florida. We serve America's seniors a couple of different ways. Number one, public seminars like the one we're doing today on topics that are important to seniors. And this year, the topic we're doing today, managing allergies or dealing with allergies, is something that is important to seniors. It's been important to me this year because for some reason I seem to be suffering from a lot of allergies that I didn't have before. So it's an important topic. But we serve seniors that way. We conduct public seminars and produce material, articles and books and things like that, important on issues important to seniors. We also operate a series of topically focused websites. For example, we have a website called socialsecurity.report.org, which is a very rich website in terms of information about Social Security, breaking news about Social Security, has a lot of archive information about Social Security, the history of Social Security, the trustees' reports, a lot of information that anybody that wants to do research about Social Security, it's there on that site. And we have a companion site called MedicareReport.org. MedicareReport.org is structured similarly. It broadcasts information about Medicare and healthcare in general. I should also point out that the Social Security report contains a lot of information about retirement issues in general, not just Social Security. So those are two very topically rich sites, very active sites, and we operate them basically update them 5 days a week. So there's always a lot of breaking news about Social Security and retirement and Medicare and healthcare, very informative sites. Our other site is the amacfoundation.org, and I would encourage you to take a look at that. That has a lot of background information about the foundation, about how we're organized. The events, for example, today's event was posted on the site in terms of all the details you need to know to sign into the event. And we have a lot of other information on there, topical information, for example, about Social Security. There's a blog page that every Monday morning we produce another informative article of topic that's important to seniors. So it's a a very content-rich site. I would encourage you to take a look at that as well. And again, that's amacfoundation.org. The third way that we serve, support, and educate America's seniors is our Social Security Advisory Service. And that's really our flagship program. We have 6, soon to be 7, accredited advisors that have been trained to respond to questions from the public about Social Security. Social Security is rather complex, and that's kind of an understatement. People that are aging into Social Security are somewhat baffled, and it's difficult for them to get credible information, about what do they need to know to make decisions about Social Security. When should I apply? Should I wait? What about my spouse? What about the survivor benefits? On and on and on. There are so many complex issues that people need to understand to make the correct decision. The problem is, if the decision is made incorrectly, it's irrevocable typically. So bad decision made at the outset is going to be with beneficiaries for the rest of their lives. So we're very careful about making sure that people understand all the issues that they need to understand in order to make the correct decision. That's a service that is free to the public. We never charge for that service, and we handle on the order of between 600 and 700 inquiries every month. So far, since we started this service, we've served well over 15,000 people. And I'm projecting, based on the volume that we've seen so far this year, that by the end of the year, we'll be well over 20,000 inquiries that we've served. So as I said, that's our flagship program, and we have trained and accredited advisors standing by. The way that you access that service, if you're interested in it, is you can call us at, well, the information is on our website, amacfoundation.org, or you can call us at 888-750-2622, or you can send us an email at ssadvisor@amacfoundation.org. And again, that information is all on our website. If you just go to the foundation website and click on services, and it'll step you through the process of accessing the service. So that's AMAC and the AMAC Foundation. And in our seminar series, we typically bring in the experts. We are a small staff, and so we need to bring in the experts that can deliver the information that the public needs to have. And today's subject, managing allergies, is one that we're thankful today to have our representatives from Vitas Healthcare, Chris Shepard and Gloria Puerto Ibi, with us. And let me tell you a little bit about Vitas. Vitas is an organization that we worked with for quite a few years now, and we have a great relationship with them, and we're just continually impressed with their wealth of knowledge and the quality of their speakers. But Vitas itself has been around for 40 years in the hospice care arena, and it's the nation's largest single source provider of end-of-life care. Large organization, and staffed with incredibly competent people, and we appreciate the opportunity to work with them. Vitas as an organization has nearly 12,000 professionals that are providing care to annually over 19,000 patients in 14 states in the country and the District of Columbia. So it's a large organization with a tremendous reach. And again, as I've said, we're really pleased to have the opportunity to work with them, and it benefits the public as well. Gloria Puerto Ibi, I will kiddingly offer her today as Dr. Gloria. She'll be copying some of the medical aspects of dealing with allergies and providing some helpful hints to you. But Gloria is a Columbia native, and she is the community educator for Lake and Sumter counties. Specifically, her title is 55 Plus Community Liaison. And we work with Gloria on a few of these now, and we just enjoy working with her. She's just a delight to work with. Christopher also is a member of the Vitas staff. Chris is title is Volunteer Service Manager for Lake and Sumter counties. And we work with Chris also for a number of years now. Chris is, unlike most people around here, he's a longtime Florida resident. So I am not, but Chris is, and he has a long history of recruiting and working with volunteers in community organizations and foundations. And as I said, we've worked with him on several of these now. Seminars on health-related topics, veterans benefits, and just a whole variety of topics. So it's just a great relationship that we have with them, and I think you're going to benefit tremendously from this workshop today. And I'm looking forward to hearing some suggestions on how I can better manage my allergies. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Gloria. Gloria is going to walk us through the presentation. Gloria, take it away. Uh-oh, I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that presentation, Jerry. It's always amazing to be part of this seminars. It's always amazing to bring a little bit of knowledge. Far, far away, be a doctor, please. But I've been learning so much when I put together these presentations, and we give general information, but we hope that those tips and that information help you to have a better quality of life. And that's what VITAS is. Actually, we work with our patients that are in a terminal ill stage, and what we really want is to have those patients and those families the best quality of life until the end. My role in the company is to visit and educate 55 and plus communities to how develop and have tools that allow that to happen, to have a better quality of life. So today's presentation is a combination between and understand a little bit our respiratory system, how this allergies works, and as well how bad can be some of these diseases when we have lung problems. So I'm going to start sharing my here my presentation and share. Please let me know if you're seeing the presentation here.
Looking good, looking good.
All right. Now I need this to be in a slide. Now you can see it better?
Yep.
Yes. Perfect. Good. So we call this presentation Senior Spring into Action, because the reality is the weather get very nice. Everything is like perfect timing to go out, especially after this, this 2020 where we are like just confine and isolate, and now in this time we're trying to do more things outdoors, right, to take care of ourselves. So let's just go really quick. I'm not going to do an anatomy class here, but just to make see a little bit of how our body is designed, especially in the respiratory system. So the respiratory system is actually composed for two areas, the upper and the down. So the human gas exchanging organ is the lung, and it's actually located in the thorax, whereas the delicate tissues are protected by the bony and muscular thoracic cage. The lung provides the tissues for human body with continuous flow of oxygen and clears the blood of the waste of products, carbon dioxide, and a lot of things happen there. And it's just not only the lungs, but it's combined with a lot of other systems that helps to have oxygen during the for the entire body. Now, the airways can be divided, like I said, in upper and lower airway systems. The transition between that two systems is located where the pathways of the respiratory and the digestive system cross, and just at the top of the larynx. So we can see here so many components of it. So you can actually, from the time that we breathe and get all through our nasal vestibule, so you can see in the graphic that is composed of many, many, many little pieces that everything have a reason why. So it is important to understand that every single part of our body counts, even a little hair in our nose, right? So that nasal hair will help to grab any external and particulars, particles that really go through and can damage. So helps a lot to that. So you can see here what is that components with. Like I said, for respiration, they have a collaboration of other organs and is essential. The diaphragm is the main respiratory muscle and the intercostal muscles in the chest wall. And that play essential role by generating, under the control of the central nervous system, all the pumping action of the lung. So we think that only the lungs, right, is the ones who do all the work. No, actually everything in our thoracic, like the bones, the muscles, the circulatory system. So you will see a collaboration of multiple organs to make our breathing possible. So what is the respiratory system disorders? And when we talk about respiratory system disorders or diseases, it's the medical term that we use to study about various types of infections, allergies, and other disease related to the different organs, tissues, and specialized cells that the human body has in the respiratory system. So what is the respiratory system disorder? Factors affecting respiratory system disorders, and is multiple, is several factors. The most, one of the few of these factors include genetics, allergies, smoking, air pollution, bacterial and viral infection. So what is the types of respiratory system disorders? And this affects people worldwide, not specific areas, it's everywhere. And there's three main types of respiratory disease, very important to know. First is the airway disease. It affects the bronchial tubes, which function by transporting oxygen and other gas into our lungs. So do you remember the first part of the presentation where we see where these bronchial tubes are? So they're actually in they're very important in the airway disease. Take those specifics for. So when that happens, the passage of air is reduced and is associated either with a narrowing or blocking our bronchial tubes. The other one is the lung tissue disease. The human lungs are covered by a thin tissue layer called the pleura. Due to certain viral bacterial infection, that structure of the lung tissues are affected. So which results in inflammation in the tissue that enables the lungs to expand normally in turn, so make very difficult to breathe. And the lung circulation disease. This disorder occurs when the blood vessels of the lungs are coagulated, swollen, or damaged. And this affects the ability of the lung to receive oxygen and release carbon dioxide. In extreme cases, this disorder may affect the function of the heart even. Remember, everything is connected. Another respiratory or the respiratory disease are the major respiratory disorders are asthma. And asthma is a chronic disease which affects the bronchi and bronchioles of the lung. And it causes difficulty in breathing and followed by severe cough, restlessness, cough and wheezing, sounds while breathing. The asthma may cause due to the following factors: cold air, airborne allergens, respiratory infections, physical activity, air pollens, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or COPD. And I want to show a short video about COPD later. This include all the respiratory disease that cause breathlessness or the inability to exhale. It largely affects people who have been exposed to some sort of smoke, and it's very serious disease and worsen even if you stop smoking. And smoking can be not only the person who smoked, but secondhand smokers. Emphysema is defined as a chronic disease and is a reduction of respiratory reserves due to the damage of the lung alveolar walls. And it's caused mainly by cigarette smoking. The main symptoms of emphysema include shortness of breath, cough. Emphysema may lead a loss of elasticity of the lungs. So emphysema may be caused by the following factors: dust, chemicals, air pollution, smoking tobacco, exposure to passive cigarette smoking, like I said, the secondhand smokers, occupational respiratory disorder. Occupational respiratory disorder are defined as any disorder which affect the respiratory system by long-term inhalation of chemicals, proteins, and dust. For instance, asbestosis that is caused by inhalation of asbestos dust. So when we're talking about that occupational, is when you work or you have been working for a long period of time in construction, chemical plants, even cleaning, because we use these chemicals that can, with time, produce this type of problems. And I tell you about that occupational respiratory disorders, that fumes from metals, smoke from burning organic materials, spray or varnish. So if you, the people that are painting, people that are working with pesticides, the industries, metals, all that. The sinusitis. Sinusitis, it is the inflammation of the mucous membranes in the nasal sinus. That mucous membranes produce mucus that drains into the nasal cavities, and that bacterial viral infection or some airborne allergens cause the inflammation of the mucous membranes. And lung cancer. Lung cancer can develop in any part of the lungs, and it occurs in the main part of the lungs. The treatment of lung cancer depends upon the type, the location, and if it is spread.
Okay.
Understanding chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, is a lung disease that makes it difficult to breathe. COPD is a long-term disease that often gets worse over time and is characterized by inflammation and severe limitation of airflow in and out of the lungs. COPD is an umbrella term used to describe a group of breathing conditions, the most common being chronic bronchitis and emphysema. Many people living with COPD may have both emphysema and chronic bronchitis. A few people have both asthma and COPD. Cigarette smoking is the leading cause of COPD. Long-term exposure to secondhand smoke or irritants such as air pollution, dust or workplace fumes, and biomass exposure such as wood smoke can also contribute to COPD. An uncommon genetic disorder called alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency is sometimes associated with COPD. Although respiratory infections such as influenza and pneumonia do not cause COPD, they can make people with COPD very sick. Therefore, it is very important to keep these vaccinations up to date. At first, COPD may cause no symptoms or only mild symptoms. As the disease progresses, common symptoms include shortness of breath, wheezing, and chest tightness, especially with exercise, and an ongoing cough, often with a lot of mucus. As COPD symptoms worsen, breathing requires much more energy, and it can get harder to exercise or do routine activities like getting dressed or climbing stairs. This may lead to fatigue, weight loss, and muscle loss. People with COPD can experience a variety of symptoms. Different stages of COPD range from mild to moderate to severe. In normal functioning lungs, when air is inhaled, it travels down the windpipe and into the airways, or bronchial tubes, of the lungs. Inside the lungs, the airways branch out into smaller and smaller tubes called bronchioles that are rich in blood supply. At the end of these tubes are billions of tiny air sacs, called alveoli. Normally, the walls of the airways and air sacs are elastic and flexible in nature. Inhaling causes each air sac to fill with air. Exhaling causes each air sac to deflate. Efficient uptake of air into the lungs provides oxygen to the blood, which is then carried to all parts of the body. In COPD, however, the airways become thick and inflamed, and they produce more mucus than usual. This mucus can clog the airways and makes it hard to breathe. In COPD, the walls of the air sacs in the lungs are damaged and lose their elastic quality. The air sacs get floppy, broken, and lose their shape. As the air spaces get larger, air gets trapped, and there are fewer air sacs to supply oxygen to the blood. Because air is trapped in these air sacs, it is difficult for lungs with COPD to deflate like normal lungs. This trapped air makes it harder to get fresh air into the lungs and makes breathing more difficult. COPD is the third leading cause of death in the United States and affects more than 13.5 million Americans. It is predominantly diagnosed in middle-aged individuals older than 40 years and is present in both women and men. Although COPD is more common in men, more women die from this disease each year than men. The rate of COPD continues to increase worldwide due to smoking and worsening air pollution. While there is no cure for COPD, you can take steps to feel better, stay more active, and slow disease progression. COPD can be managed by consulting early with your healthcare provider, seeking diagnosis and intervention therapies, and adopting lifestyle changes that include quitting smoking, pulmonary rehabilitation, healthy eating and exercise, and maintaining a positive outlook.
Wow, that is really nice, right? Let me just, that is amazing. I love that video because really helps to understand more about how even the process of breathing work. And that is important because sometimes we don't understand, and we are using this. We're gonna come back. And understanding a little bit more about that make us see. And I love this, you know what? Because actually, always come back to the same that I talk every time. Exercise and what? Healthy? Hydration. Hydration, healthy eating, right? Nutrition. This coming back to, that's like the base of everything. Every time that I prepare, I will think, oh my gosh, the AMAC Foundation people would think that I have something related with food and exercise, because every time I finish with the same. But let's talk about allergies, and this is important. This is what we are, especially you, Jerry, right? That's what you really are here.
Right, so, you're right.
So let's see an overview about allergies, right? So allergies occur when the immune system reacts to any substance that it's foreign. It's like they don't recognize, or they recognize, and like pollen, bee venom, pet dander, or food that doesn't cause reaction in most of the people. So your immune system produces substance known as antibodies. And when you have allergies, your immune system makes these antibodies to identify a particular allergen as harmful, even though it isn't. So it's an overreact immune system to that particular substance, right? When you come in contact with this allergen, your immune system reaction can inflammate your skin, sinus, airways, or your digestive system. Now, the severity of the allergies vary from person to person and can range from minor irritation to anaphylaxis. And I'm going to explain to you later a little bit more about anaphylaxis. You will hear that quite a bit during the presentation. A potentially life-threatening emergency is pretty much what they means. But while most of the allergies can be cured, the treatments can help to relieve your allergy symptoms. So sorry, Jerry, that cannot be cured.
That's okay. I'm kind of getting used to them anyway now.
All right. So let's see what. Okay. What is the symptoms? You know much better than I. Allergy symptoms, which depends of this gonna depends of the substance involved and can affect your airways, your sinus, your nasal passages, your skin, your digestive system, and the allergy reaction can range from mild to severe, like I said before. And I think I repeat that part. So I have a couple of them, like hay fever, also called allergic rhinitis, and can cause by sneezing, itching of the nose, eyes, or roof of the mouth, runny, a stuffy nose, watery, red, or swollen eyes. A food allergy can tingling in the mouth, swelling of the lips, tongue, face, throat, hives, and anaphylaxis. An insect sting allergy can be a large area of swelling, like an edema, and the site inside. Itching or hives all over the body, cough, chest tightness, wheezing, or shortness of breath, and anaphylaxis. You see that anaphylaxis are being like named in most of them. A drug allergy, hive, itchy skin, rash, facial swelling, wheezing, anaphylaxis. Atopic dermatitis, an allergic skin condition, also called eczema, can cause skin to itch, redden, flake, or peel. Now, what is anaphylaxis? Some types of allergy, including allergies to food and insects, can trigger a severe reaction to this. And that's known as anaphylaxis. It's a life-threatening medical emergency and can cause you to go to a shock. So what is the symptoms that you need to be very mindful when you start having it? Loss of consciousness, a drop in blood pressure, severe shortness of breath, skin rash, lightheadedness, a rapid weak pulse, and nausea and vomiting. Now, when to see a doctor? You might want to see a doctor if your symptoms you think are caused by an allergy and over-the-counter allergy medication don't provide enough relief. If you have symptoms after starting a new medication, you need to call the doctor who prescribed it right away. Now, for a severe allergic reaction or anaphylaxis, you need to call 911 or your local emergency number and seek emergency medical help immediately. Now, some people that suffer really bad allergies used to carry an epinephrine auto-injector, can be an Albiq, an EpiPen, or others. And if they have it, you can give yourself a shot right away, or if the person that comes with you know, they use it. But even if your symptoms improve after doing this injection, you should go to the emergency department anyway to make sure the symptoms do not return when the effects of the injection wear off. So that is like a immediately respond, but then you need to definitely go towards those emergency rooms, no matter if you put it Just make sure that you're cleared up. So if you had a severe allergy attack or any signs or symptoms or anaphylaxis in the past, make an appointment to see your doctor. Maybe they need to do an evaluation. Maybe they need to check another or do a diagnosis or long-term management, because this can be a life-threatening. And what I have recommend, if you're seeing a lot of reactions, you probably need to see a doctor who specializes in allergy and immunology, because then that means that your immune system is compromised at a level that you cannot control easily. So spring allergies. So you get this spring allergies is when you get seasonal allergies, and usually is when the immune system overreact substance like tree, grass, and our wonderful pollen, right, Gerald?
Yeah, I can sense spring allergies coming when my car is turning yellow.
You know, and this reaction can give us multiple symptoms like runny nose, scratchy throat, sneezing, itching, watery eyes, sinus pain. And you know, I find a lot of people that have this bad allergies that because COVID, right? We changed our even our way to react to allergies, because now someone that having like this reactions, what they do, I'm sorry, it's allergies, it's not COVID, it's not COVID. So you need to as well during this time of, you know, the pandemic, and identify that stuff too. So I'm glad that you actually invite me to talk about it. So when we talk about this, we can see the airborne pollen and can be from different sources, right? But what I found very interesting is that actually Florida, right? They have different type of pollens, depends of the area. So North Florida have some, Central Florida have some, and South Florida have others. So depends of the area where you are located, you can find multiple of these ones, and make obviously to create the pollen. And most of the time the people think that, you know, the misconception about these tree pollen allergies is that the large of the if the tree have largest flowers and, you know, have that beautiful spring flowers, they're the ones who produce more pollen, and is not. Actually, the trees that do not have that many flowers are the ones to produce more pollen. And the reason why is because with the flowers, they attract the insects, and through the insects, they share the pollen. But for the ones that do not attract the insects, right? So they actually release the pollen through the air to do what they need to do. It's part of nature, but it's like the different type of ways that nature utilize and then obviously affect us, right? So you need to be very mindful of this, and it's a lot of apps that you can measure the amount of pollen. So you have your weather app that they show you the level of pollens and the types of pollen depends of the area you are located. So you can look in your app store, you can look in your weather channel locally, and they can have that apps on your phone, and that will help a lot of that. So another common misconception is that, and this can apply to all types of allergy, is that you cannot develop seasonal allergy as an adult. And if you didn't have them as a child, you don't have it. And that is actually, well, not true. Even in adulthood, you can develop allergies when you move from one area to another area. Like a lot of snowbirds, a lot of people there thinking in Florida because it's so an amazing state, and but they move here and they start to notice that, you know, they're sneezing a lot, that they have this allergies and they don't know what it is. What you can develop, and it's because the changes of where you live, and maybe you never be exposed to that before, right? So it is important to understand that that you need to be very mindful of that. Also, people believe that there is a little to no pollen near to the beach. So say, I don't have that problem. I live close to the beach. So, but pollen can be airborne and is carried for hundreds and hundreds of miles. So even too close to the beach area. So that is a couple of misconceptions that I find really interesting. So what can trigger that allergy season to be like worse, right? So mild breezy days with cool evenings, when the wind pick up the pollen and disperse through the air, you don't need to have trees in your around you, right, to suffer that. But occasional exception, this pretty much sums up the weather, like in the north of Florida, like Jacksonville. So you can see that type of a season starting even December through March. So it is even like you cannot have like a specific time in Florida for that. And I'm talking Florida, maybe you're seeing in another state and you have a specific, we are in Florida, so that's why I'm taking a little bit more of that. Thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are as well. You probably think, you know, while rainy days bring relief for allergy sufferers, thunderstorm can actually make it worse. So when we have thunderstorms, that can they can produce as well, and leading to increase in allergic reaction during storms. And they actually are named thunderstorm asthma. And it's interesting term that I found about it. You know, another thing is some types of fruits or vegetables can trigger your allergies. So you, like people who suffer of nasal allergies from a specific tree pollens also have a higher risk of reaction to certain raw fruits and vegetables. For example, you have birch pollen allergy and you eat raw apple or pear, you may experience a localized allergy reaction, like mild swelling, and each time when you put the fruit in your mouth. So you have to be very mindful about that too. And obviously, if you're at proximity of that triggered tree. Spring cleaning. When we do a spring clean, is the time to hit spots that you don't clean every week. So that can as well be allergies and can be triggered, especially if you're not being in your office for months and months and months because the quarantine, and you're working from home and you come back to your office now and you see all that. So this is some tips to help to avoid allergies. So keep windows closed to avoid letting pollen and mold inside. Avoid using outdoor cloth lines. Like sometimes people like to put the clothes outside to dry. Well, it's not a good idea if you suffer of that allergies. Dry your carpets after shampooing. Dust makes like damp spots, like damp wood and padding under the carpets. So if you're washing your carpet, you make sure that you dry really well, because then can get that under the level that you cannot see. And use a damp cloth to dust. So dry dust and sand dust back into the air. So if you're using some clothing to clean, just make sure you remove it as soon as possible and use some protection for your face as well. So pet dander, that's some microscopic flakes of the skin that, you know, animals, and they have like, it's too small to see, to be honest, but then they can get in the fabric or around your home, and that can be really bad. So this is a couple of quick tips that actually can be benefit. So brush your pets usually outside and regular, or take them to a groomer. Avoid bathing pets too often. Do you think that as much that you do like bath to your pet is going to be cleaner? But actually they can leave the skin dry, and if they is a dry skin, they flakes more. So they don't need to be get that bath all the time. So keep pets off of furniture. Vacuum regularly using high efficiency particular air filter, and wash your hands after you pet your pet. So a couple of spring allergies preparing tips. So if you have taken an allergy shot, you should monitor pollen daily levels, so you prepare. When you're exposed, if you're doing exercise outdoor or any type of outdoors, change your clothes after exposed. Don't come back home and sit down and as soon you get home, just remove your clothes. And avoid any synthetic fabrics. Wear a filter mask. Well, you're really already using that, right? Wear eyeglasses, even if it's like a sunblock glasses, like a sun glasses. It will be nice. Shower before bed. Some people do not have that a habit, and it's really good. When you shower before bed, you are eliminate all some triggers, and then you can actually sleep better. Keep windows and doors closed. And I'm trying to move this here. Guess what? My favorite part: eat healthy food and add some honey. Actually, that is a good tip. So thank you so much. I hope that you learned a little bit today. See here, I'm stop sharing.
You didn't mention hydration there at the end.
Yeah.
Hydration. That's Christopher, right? Christopher, that's your call. Hydration.
Well,
That's one of your hot
seriously,
buttons.
drinking a lot of water will always help any allergy. I've been told that by doctors, both holistic and general practice. I've known people who it does help. Obviously, you want to drink anything with moderation, even water, but yeah, we all have a certain amount that we should be drinking every day, and it definitely helps. I'll tell you a little funny story too. Well, honey, I'll go back to that. Honey that is from the local area, orange blossom honey, salt palmetto honey. It's better to buy that from a local producer who is certified. But that is very, very helpful for anyone with allergies. I've never known anyone who hasn't told me that when they started using honey grown locally that it's not helped their allergies. And another thing, I'll tell you a funny story. It's true in my family. My parents bought a home, and my mom was allergic to hickory trees. She did not know it until they bought a home that had a yard full of hickory trees. Imagine that. And it was a very severe allergy, and the doctor pinpointed it. They obviously couldn't just turn around and sell the home. So she saw a holistic doctor because she didn't want to be continually taking medication. She just was of that persuasion. And the holistic doctor told her that she should take extra doses of vitamin C. And do you know that it cleared it up? She couldn't rake leaves in the fall, which she enjoyed, that part of the allergy, but she could be out in the yard and in the shade and around the hickory trees and not be as impacted as she was earlier. I've heard other people tell me that as well. So there are different things that you can do, just like Gloria said, that are proactive in the treatment of allergies. And a lot of them have to do with food and hydration.
Yeah, I know on the hydration issue for our attendees, there is a video on the foundation site that Gloria did on the importance of hydration during the pandemic. And so, it's one you might want to take a look at. But, I know that most people typically don't hydrate themselves correctly, me included.
Yeah.
I often think about that during the day. That I always think about Gloria, and I think I need to go get a glass of water.
That's good. That's good. And most of the people, ask me, why if you're in hospice, you're talking about this. And it's so important because what we find in our field is that a lot of people do not have the tools to make that small changes, right? They can be benefit in a long way. So I really appreciate everything you do. We actually, as a company, as hospice provider, we work with patients that are COPD, and we have respiratory therapies that helps and that they have a better quality of breathing and help a lot to that. So I really appreciate. Thank you so much. I have to run, but
Christopher, wait a minute, before you go, Christopher, there was a question that was directed at you. How much extra vitamin C was your mom told to take?
well, bye everybody. I left Christopher.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Gloria.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. I think she took 1,500 as a milligrams a day. So because the doctor told her, she'd been told by other doctors as she moved, that, extra vitamin C, don't worry about getting too much because it's not one of those vitamins that builds up in your system. Your body dissolves it, it passes through. So it made a dramatic impact on her life and our whole family. When she found that out, we saw improvement within 30 days. It was that dramatic. So it was a pretty remarkable thing. And I've heard other stories since then.
Well, I know about the local honey because I have friends who have used the local honey and it's helped their allergies. Incredible. They suddenly is like being able to enjoy outside more.
Absolutely. And with that, I'll stress again that I think it's good to find a local grower. Don't depend upon your local honey from the supermarket.
Yeah.
Because the honey needs to come from your local area.
Yes, I think they found it at the farmer's market in their their town. So this usually is a local beekeeper. I know in this area, the farmer's market, and I know the farmer's market in my area because I don't live in the Lady Lake area, there's usually a beekeeper that comes and has their local honey for sale. So.
Yes, and actually it's really good. I found this out that different beekeepers have different practices. And if you start there with a local beekeeper, but keep your ears open about someone who has, quote, high quality honey, because that practice makes a difference as well. Well, thank you all for having us. I was kind of quiet today, but I enjoyed that presentation. So thank you very much for inviting us to do this.